Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and I know right now a few of you are smiling because you saw the title of the program and you heard the opening music that I put in as kind of a unique sounder. Well, that's because that sounder is Nelson Riddle's adaptation of a musical theme for a television series that was very, very popular long time ago, seemingly in a world far away, called Route 66. And there are some things that brought that to mind again. And so I would like to talk to you just briefly as we are kind of flowing into hopefully the election will soon come to an end. And then we can begin to do the things that we want to give more attention to. And hopefully in better situations. So I'm Stan Houston. The program is called Interesting Ideas, and if you'll give me just a few more minutes, I'll talk a little bit about Route 66, about podcasting, and perhaps something for you too. Interesting Ideas, that's the program, and it begins right now. Yes, Route 66. Now, when I was in Arizona, I lived quite close to Route 66, and many of you know this is the iconic highway. It is a legend in American history and in automotive history. And of course, Route 66 was one of the early highways, and it was built long before the interstate, but it kind of served as a interstate highway if you wanted to go from Chicago, Illinois, down into the Southwest and land up in LA. From Chicago to Los Angeles, you took Route 66. Perhaps you might have stopped by and, took a look at the Grand Canyon, but then you made your way through the desert, through to Southern California. Well, Route 66, now, for many of you, you've heard about it, but you don't know anything about it. Route 66 is now basically just a historical remnant. Obviously, the interstates came along in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and eventually it is obviously the interstate highway, which is equivalent to what Route 66 was back in the 30s and 40s and early 50s. But there's still a lot of legend and lore. Do you realize, and I found this out, and that's why we're doing a radio program on it, that many people from all over the world still go, primarily to Arizona, to be at Route 66, to see what was the history of the times. There are Route 66 clubs all around the world. Now, my friend, again, someone who I have never met, even though he's a very close friend, is now working with me on What It Takes Radio, and he's doing a program on two things. First of all, Car Talk. Now, many of you remember the National Public Radio program, Car Talk. It was how to fix up your old car and make it work. Jim is an expert on, I learn something all the time about the history of the American automobile. And it's not just about automobiles, it's about innovation. It's about how America in many ways grew up at that time. Well, Jim loves to talk about automobiles, and then he lives right there, and he is the author. He is the writer on Route 66. And he's still involved doing what he loves to do, working with old cars, telling stories about cars, and telling people about Route 66. And he is one of the great illustrations of, if you really know what you love and want to do, and if you work real hard at it, and if you become one of the best at it, you just might be able, I say might be able, to make a living doing it. Remember that. You might be able to make a living doing that. Now, here's the story that continues. In effect, what Jim has now decided to do is to join me, and I'm bringing some of my radio expertise to the table because it's something that I love to do. And we are building a program, and it's simply called Car Talk on the Main Street of America. Car Talk on the Main Street of America. And Jim goes into his storytelling. I kind of serve as again, this will date us. He's kind of the Johnny Carson, and I'm the Ed McMahon. Jim tells the stories and shares the legends, and I kind of come in and make an announcement and do a little promo work and perhaps say, well, here's Jim, and he's coming to you on Route 66. So that's part of what I wanted to talk about today, just so you would know that as we go into the weekend, and remember, I declared that right now, in terms of the election, I'm just an observer. It'll be pretty well done by this weekend, and then we'll kind of see the results flow out, obviously Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we will know something about some of the shape that the United States is in, and perhaps how that will affect the rest of the world. And then, of course, all of this is happening in the midst of an ongoing recession coming on, economic dislocation. Yeah, I talk just like that. My talk is dislocated too. Dislocation going on. And then all of us hopefully will enter the holidays. At least we in America will celebrate Thanksgiving. And then, of course, the holidays of Christmas and New Year's kind of slow things down. Hopefully, we are done fairly significantly with the 3-year COVID crisis as a crisis. Hopefully, some of the election politics will begin to settle out in some ways. And then, as the world goes on, you and I will, this is what my friend Jim says, Stan, we are all involved in that adventure called life. We are all involved in that adventure called life. And some of you may remember when I talked about my friends at White Stallion, that's what they said about riding a horse. Riding a horse is an adventure. It's not a sport. It's not a game. It might be a hobby, but it's an adventure. And an adventure is where you are involved in something that you know has risks to it. It has risks involved. And you don't know quite how it will turn out. That adventure called life. One of the things that I've tried to do as a business coach for many years, and hopefully a man who also brings understanding about business performance and hopefully some spiritual realities, is to help people understand two things right away. First of all, life is just that. It is an adventure. We don't know how it will turn out. Secondly, there are skills and strategies and knowledge and spirit and supernatural things that you can bring in to the adventure that perhaps will help you live better, live well, and leave a legacy. There are things, skills, strategies, ways of living, ways of doing, spirit force, and supernatural ideas that certainly can help you live life better. And so I'm hoping that many of you now who are wondering what is going to be will understand, okay, there will be real division in America, as there is. The election will decide a number of things in terms of government policy and positioning and perhaps some of the power structures that be. But then what happens? That each and every one of us now, as we bring 22 to an end, and of course, if you're like me, we've already started 23. What we will do is say, if it's going to be in 23, what is up to me? What must I do differently? What must I do that is maybe something I've never done before? 10,000 people become not unemployed. They become retired every year in America. How are you going to live your life? You may have 10, 20, 30 years of retirement. We're going to have a program called Encore, which is essentially to help you find out what is your life project, perhaps God's life project for you as you go forward. We're going to continue to have interesting ideas so that you, whatever you might be, a young career business builder, a young person seeking to find their way, so that you will have a head start on how you can best navigate the adventure. And so those are the things I'm going to ask you to understand for yourself, and then I want you to understand that what I'm doing is part of the reality that you must be aware of. Whether you want to do it the way I'm doing it is up to you, of course. But in life today, you have to make your mark in the marketplace. That means you have to be good at what you do. You have to really serve others. You have to be quite different from others. You have to be unique. As one of my friends, and it was the Route 66 guy, he said, you know, all of us have a hard time understanding them. He said, and in the early days of the American automobile, it was very much true. Just as Elon Musk is bringing a new kind of automobile, he said, those kind of men, and they're very rare, and they're quite few, they are, weird sometimes, crazy sometimes. He said, but the truth is, in many ways, they live in a different world. And that can be good, and that can be bad. They live in a different world. I also had a pastor teach me this, and this is vital. He said, Stan, when you are bringing people in to a situation, as I did as a mission worker, he said, remember that you bring them into a situation where the walls between this world and the spirit world of heaven become paper thin. You can almost have a glimpse or a sense or perhaps a passing event that reminds you that there is indeed a different world. So can I leave you with that idea on this Thursday? Yeah, life is an adventure in which you don't know how it's going to turn out, and there are risks involved. And perhaps can I ask you to, if you aren't really one, at least be sympathetic and seek to, from time to time, you really do live in a different world. I'm Stan Houston. Some real radio ramblings these days, but hopefully some interesting ideas for you. I'll be back. I just read a recent article which says there are things you have to learn about using the media that will be important for your career in business. Obviously, social media has done a lot of good, but it has also done an incredible amount of harm. And there's a good reason why that happens, and I can explain it if you'd like me to, but you probably don't, so I won't. However, in terms of the things that allow us to share our ideas and to reach the audience that we all have in life, You're going to have to learn some of the communication and performance skills that will truly help you find your audience and find a better way to reach them. And then to share three things: wisdom, insight, truth, combined with competence and character with people all around the world. And we can help you do just that. So please reach out to me. Please go to witradio.net, witradio.net. By the way, if you want to know more about how I just live and coach, just Google me, Stan Husted, and who knows what might show up. One of 100 or 1,000 videos and radio programs, and you'll begin to figure out how I might be able to come by you, be present with you, and even never met you. Thanks to the internet, you can become a person where I can help you as a guide, as a mentor, as a coach, and help you make life an adventure that makes you smile from time to time, gives you joy from time to time, and even helps you reach your deep gladness. Thank you for listening. This is Interesting Ideas. Reach out to stanhusted@gmail.com, stanhusted@gmail.com. Best and blessings. Lord bless us and keep us, everyone. Bye for now.